Hi, it's Lipstick Gal. Thanks so much for watching today. I wanted to talk about the makeup items I'm glad I didn't purchase. This is one of those videos I've been a little worried about recording because the minute I start looking at all the kind of like the ones that got away, if you will, I sometimes get that little like flutter in my heart, that little beat in my chest. It's kind of like, well, maybe you do need it. So I've been kind of putting this one off. The other thing is I also don't want to be like terribly negative. And my goal is not to say that these are bad products, but just I didn't think that I needed them, and I'm glad I either let kind of the hype die down or convince myself that I was gonna be okay with what I already had. The first thing that I just recently talked myself out of is a new eyeshadow release from Besame. Besame decided to release duos, just two shadows, and I think they're like a matte and a metallic side by side in this beautiful little red packaging. There's no mirror. I don't know if the packaging is cardboard. It looks like it could be, but they're just two little half moons. One is a matte shade, one is a metallic shade, and I was like, ooh, look, classic shadow duos. Oh, hooray! They're $24, and I instantly saw these. First of all, red's my favorite color. I was like, oh, they're in red packaging. Okay, and I was like, don't go for the packaging. And I also really like Besame as a brand, but I find that what I really appreciate the most from Besame is their lip products. I do have one of their powders. I have tried other things in the past. I think they do really beautiful vintage inspired makeup. And this idea of two shades, yes, for every day. But I was like, girl, you don't need that. I have eyeshadow coming out of my eyeballs. I don't need any more eyeshadow. So this was a no. I'm always a little bit curious about trying a new formulation. I never did pick up one of their larger eyeshadow palettes like the Sleeping Beauty or the whatever. I was like, no, I think I'm gonna be okay. But this really was like tugging on my heartstrings. I'm like, this could be perfect for work or quick out the door. And I was like, you don't, not even a little bit. So I'm glad I talked myself off of the, you know, the ledge with this one. I was about to jump into that Besame eyeshadow pool so quick. Products from Vanessa Myricks have been really hit or miss for me. Either I absolutely love them and completely devoted, or they're kind of like a like sad trombone, like no, not even a little bit. And I saw this one palette, and this is the one that I was like, I'm dancing on the ledge of maybe I need it, is the Lightworks 3. This is a limited edition palette with 8 multi-chrome shades, and they are so stunning. And I love a shifty eyeshadow. I love something the sparkly. This is just sparkly, but these other ones from Vanessa are sparkly and they turn colors. And I asked myself, how many places would I really wear this? I would wear this like when I'm having a makeup fun day and I'm just playing because I don't have to go to work. I don't have any responsibilities. It's me playing. And like if I was going out, you know, with my husband or having dinner at a friend's house or having people over to our house, yes, but that doesn't happen as often as I would like. And I realized that this is not the everyday sort of makeup, first of all, that I make time for, because when I gotta go, I don't even have this much makeup on. I'm, you know, a little sunscreen, a little concealer, brows, and a lip gloss, and goodbye. That's where I'm at. So this is not because I don't think it's gorgeous or because I would have so much fun with it, because I know I would both. But the price tag, I think, was $85, if I'm not mistaken. And then on top of that, there is also the fact that these are not, most of these shades, some I could probably wear to work, would probably push the boundaries of maybe a little too much for a professional workspace. So I don't know, I think it's beautiful, would love to have it. And this was kind of like, if I keep looking at it and I see like that little video image of the shifty shades going back and forth, I might actually break down, but I'm just holding strong and I think I'm gonna be okay. So everyone is losing their mind over the e.l.f., what is it, their Halo Glow liquid filter. It looks absolutely stunning, and I was so close to purchasing it. I have so many highlighters that come in bottles. I have the one from Auric. I have 3 from Lisa Eldridge. I have the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. I have a lot of things like that, and I've always loved a liquid glow that you can either use as highlight on top, mix in with your foundation, put down as a glowy primer. There's so many ways to use a product like this, but I'm glad I didn't get this. And it's not because it's e.l.f. It's because I already have too much. And I think a lot of times I have to go through my entire collection and kind of ask myself, is there room? Do you really need, and of course the answer is always no, I don't need another one. But this would definitely be too much. I'm almost out of the one from Lisa Eldridge. It's my favorite. I have very little left right here. This is Crystal Nebula. I accidentally purchased the wrong shade when I wanted to try the new one. This is the new one in Pink Moon. I accidentally got Crystal or Cosmic Rose, so I have 2 nearly full bottles. Your girl does not need another liquid highlight. Would I like to know what it's like? Oh yes. Was I curious and intrigued? Oh yes. And am I glad there is something like this at a drugstore price? Oh yes. But it's not for me. In July, Hourglass released a new foundation. It was their Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. And this looked beautiful. It talked about blurring and minimizing the look of imperfections on the skin. So it looks even, smooth, firmer. It's supposed to be transfer resistant. It's supposed to be, you know, impervious to sweat and humidity. It's supposed to be weightless. And there are 32 shades. I was like, that all sounds really good. And I don't wear foundation. Maybe this is why I'm glad I didn't get it. Because like today I'm not wearing foundation. I have concealer strategically placed and a light dusting and powder over the top, and that's it. And I was thinking about this. Why would I want to spend $58 on a foundation that I would almost never reach for? Which is why I maybe just need to start reevaluating my decisions for foundation in general. But I'm actually really glad I didn't get this. And the hard part is now, like, so many brands come out with more than 32 shades right off the bat. Lancôme recently, I think, launched with 32 shades, and I was like, Lancôme, you don't have a shade that's light enough for me. And that kind of bothered me. But I feel like most brands are coming out with 40 or 50 shades right out of the gate. And I feel like the shade selection's a little small, first of all. And second of all, $58 for a foundation I'd almost never wear. If I wore it every day, it would make more sense financially, but I don't really. So I'm a sucker for nostalgia. I'm just going to be honest. That is something that I regularly fall for. And when Too Faced came out with their Better Than Chocolate collection, my eye instantly went for their new eyeshadow palette. Their, you know, Better Than Chocolate eyeshadow palette really like called to me, and I realized it wasn't the shades on the inside, because I probably have all of these shades someplace. Maybe not that bright blue, but other than that, I have the rest of these, that kind of lilac-y pink, that forest green, I guess it's more of an olive green in the corner, all of the varying shades of warm and neutral browns. Probably got them like 10 times over. But I think what really, you know, caught that nostalgic moment in me was the packaging, because it reminded me of my first, you know, Too Faced eyeshadow palette, the chocolate bar. And then I ended up getting the semi-sweet, and then I ended up getting the bonbons, and then I ended up getting the, what is it, chocolate gold. Like, I have so many of those, and the peach palette, and the, you know, I had so many of those palettes in that metallic packaging. They do bring back really good memories of what I was doing when I was wearing them, but also just the fun of going to the store and, you know, swatching them and falling in love with the eyeshadow color story and bringing the whole thing home. There are, and it's weird to say it, and it's kind of embarrassing, but it's true. I do have emotional memories that are tied to the purchasing of the makeup. And so when I saw this, I was like, oh, look. And I was like, no. You really don't buy Too Faced anymore. And it's not that there's anything wrong with the brand. I feel like kind of, I don't know if I've aged out or they're not putting out things that are catching my attention. It's just not a brand that really calls to me anymore. I still have yet to purchase anything from REM Beauty. Ariana's like line is out there, and every time I walk into Sephora, it's staring right at me, and I'm kind of glad I stuck to my guns and was like, nope, because her most recent release, I guess her most recent was the concealer, which didn't even like even tickle my fancy a little bit. But the one before that, all the lips, the lip liners, the lipsticks, the lip glosses, the liquid lipsticks, I was just like, you know me, I'm a sucker for a lip product. And I really wanted to try her classic lipstick that comes in that tall, slim packaging with the little kind of like acrylic window, so it looks like a little lipstick in space. Like, The packaging was drawing me in, the colors were drawing me in, it looked affordable. I could go and swatch it at my local Ulta. There were a lot of things that were really kind of calling to me, pulling me in. And truthfully, your girl does not need another lipstick. I'm not gonna say it any clearer than that. But I really feel like beyond that, I don't know that all of this brand's products are being terribly well reviewed. And I have so much right now, I don't have room for something that's not absolutely stellar. Okay, so this next one's really hard. It's Pat McGrath. Remember last May when, I guess it was May 2021, when she launched her blushes and we all went gaga for all of her blushes? Well, recently she came out with these blush duos and I was looking at them and I was like, oh my goodness, they're so gorgeous. And the shade, I think for me, what really drew me in, well, it wasn't the imprint of the pan, because I already have 2 Pat McGrath blushes. Yes, the pan imprint is beautiful, but what I really like is the formula is fantastic. But for me, what really piqued my interest were the colors that she put in the pan, because there is one that looks kind of like a hot coral and kind of like a maybe almost orchidy magenta shade. I was like, what? I loved that. There's more of a soft lavender and a kind of a peachy coral, a light coral. That looked interesting to me. They just look beautiful. They look beautiful. At the same time, she also released new highlights, and I really like Pat's highlight formula. It's absolutely stunning. I have one which is a little too deep for my skin tone. I think it's Golden Venus, and it would be a lot better if it was maybe not quite so deep. And I was like, oh look, there's a shade light enough, and I just didn't do it. And truthfully, I don't really feel like my collection is, you know, got these big giant gaping holes that only Pat's products could fill. But are these beautiful? Absolutely. Does it still make my heart go pitter-pat? Yes, I'm gonna continue to scroll, but I'll tell you, I'm kind of glad I don't have those. All right, this is one where I really feel like I dodged a bullet. These are the new cream bronzers and cream highlights from Rose Inc. I really love the one cream cheek product that I have from them. I have one of their cream blushes in Azalea. It's absolutely fabulous, super easy to use. It works well on my cheeks as well as on my lips. I mean, it's just a good product. It's a really good product. I like the color a lot. The reason that I'm glad that I don't have these is the reviews that I've seen, the lightest shade of the bronzer is too orange, almost too yellowy orange. And I think it would make me look, it wouldn't work well on my skin. I already feel like I have some bronzers that lean a little too yellow and they're just a little too warm. And then on top of that, the highlights, is like, well, maybe I'll still pick up a highlight. And then I saw a review, Hannah Louise posted, was talking about this, how the fairest shade of the bronzer just made her look insane. And then she really liked the way that the highlights looked when she was in natural light, patting them on. She's like, oh, it looks so pretty. It's kind of like that glass skin, kind of like that glaze look without being too much. And she says, but in artificial light, you really can't see it. It's like if it's not natural light and just at the right angle, it's as if you're not wearing anything. And I was like, oh, because truthfully, I spend 98% of my life, maybe 99% of my life indoors. Either I'm at the dentist office working, I'm at home, and it's right now it's so hot I'm not going outside. And even when it's not hot, I am not an outdoorsy kind of gal. That is not who I am, and I'm fine with that. So I want a highlight that can be seen in artificial light when you have the lights on, you know. I sometimes end up sitting close to the window, but even then I'm like, I don't want to sit by the window. I really don't like being in the sun. So I feel like these items, first of all, color for the bronzer was not for me, but I also feel like the product, the formulation might suit other people better, but it's definitely not something that has a place in my collection. Oh man, this is another one of those products that every time I see it, I'm like, but wait, maybe I don't need this. These are the new lip and cheek tints from YSL, new as an NU. They are a creamy tinted balm for lips and cheeks, and they are 90% skincare based. Here's what I really liked about them. First of all, I love the squeezy tube. That looks so easy. I also like that at the bottom, like close to where the tube opens and you can dispense it, you have a clear portion of the packaging that shows you exactly what the color is. It's not like they printed that color on there. It's clear packaging so you can see the product itself. Also, brilliant, smart. But the truth is, I've got so many cream products. I don't need another cream cheek product. And on top of that, I feel like this 90% skincare based, the only way to know would be to try. But I feel like I'm okay not trying right now. And the fact is, I'm wearing more powder products because I'm working. And at work, at the dentist's office, I am in a mask like all day long. It comes off at lunchtime. It goes back in when I walk back in the building. And then I take it off right before, like, okay, gotten out of my scrubs, put on my street clothes. I'm walking out the door. And as I go out the back door, I take off my mask and I drop it in the trash can just before I close the door behind me. Like, I'm in it all day long. And cream products don't last. And I find that when I do wear cream products and I'm in a mask, you know, the little elastic that goes around my ears will sometimes wipe away just a thin little line here and here. Or, you know, anything that I have here that the mask covers, I'll have like a little rectangular corner where I don't have anything. And then, you know, the little, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for me in a mask. I know I can set it with powder, but I don't want to. I like the look of a dewy cheek. So for me, trying these YSL products, although they look beautiful, although they look lovely, you know, skincare, all of that good stuff, it's just not the way I'm wearing makeup right now. Here's a product that I'm always wondering if curiosity is going to win out. And it is the new Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder from Vanessa Myricks. I really love Vanessa's artistry. I love the creative way she creates new products that I was like, what is that? It's a balm powder? What? Through watching reels on her Instagram account, I see that you can use it as a primer. You could use it as a base. You could use it as a powder. I mean, there's so many different ways to use this product and it looks absolutely intriguing. And for me, I think what keeps me on the line of not really gonna buy it, part of it is that I'm in a mask all day at work. Second of all is, would this product actually work for me? And there's no way to know unless you try it, but I don't know that it has pulled me in enough that I have to know. But it looks so intriguing. I'll just be honest, this one still I'm on the fence of, do I need it? Do I not need it? And I feel like maybe because the hype is past, I mean, it might be a fantastic product, but not everyone's talking about it right now. I think that this is one of those that I can safely just let go and be okay. But at the time, I wanted this so bad. And I'm kind of glad that I told myself I could be fine. My life would be just fine if I didn't purchase. I will tell you, it was so hard for me when Pat McGrath launched a collaboration with Bridgerton. All right, so the first one was in like what, late December, early January, and it was the Diamond of the First Water. And it had really like beautiful pinks, but also this gorgeous ice blue in the eyeshadow. It had really gorgeous, like a face palette with highlight and blushes. And I was like, oh, I was so head over heels for it. But I looked at it and I was like, no, I don't wear these shades. I don't wear pink eyeshadow that frequently, not those vibrant pinks. And I almost never wear blue. This would be just a sheer waste of money. And although I did really like the face palette, they had 2 shades in there that I already own. So the third, I couldn't buy the palette just for the 3rd shade. It just, no. And then later this year, I think it was back in March, they launched a second Bridgerton collaboration. And I was like, okay, Pat McGrath knows that I missed the last one and she's not gonna let me miss this time. And I'll tell you, I was literally like a hair's breadth away from purchasing a Pat McGrath lipstick because it came in that cute little packaging that had the bow on the front. They were like peach and powder blue. And I was like, uh-huh. And I told myself, you don't really love Pat McGrath lipsticks. Now, are they bad? No, it's a good lipstick. But for the price, I want it to do more. That's because I have lipsticks that are less expensive that I reach for more often than my Pat McGrath ones. I think I have like maybe 1 or 2 left and I never reach for them. It's a total shame, but I feel like she doesn't make my favorite matte formula. She doesn't make my favorite cream formula. She doesn't make my favorite kind of sheer glossy formula. So I just don't reach for them. I reach for other things. And so I told myself, you don't reach for Pat lipsticks. Do not buy that pink or that powder blue lipstick just because it has the gold bow on it. So I've talked myself out of that. And then I was like, oh, but look, the eyeshadows, I could wear some of those. I was like, no, again, more like hot pink magenta-y shades. You don't wear those. But I was this close, literally this close on the face palette that had like the blushes and the gold highlight. And I'd reminded myself that gold highlight's gonna be too deep for you. And the blushes, although they're pretty, do you really wanna live with packaging that's probably like this tall? No. I talked myself all the way like down from all of these things. I was so close. And I feel like because Pat McGrath has such a fabulous formula, I'm always intrigued, but because the price is also right at like outside my comfort level, it really has to make sense to me. And all of these Bridgerton collabs, although the products were beautiful and I love the show, but even before that, I've loved the books. I've been reading those Julia Quinn books for forever. Even before they were making a Netflix series, I just was like, separate my love of the characters in the book from Bridgerton, Pat McGrath, and take a real critical look at these products, and they just don't have a place in my collection. There are only a few products that I've tried from the Makeup by Mario brand. I feel like there are a few more that I want to try, but something that launched this spring that kind of really pulled me in was the Ultra Suede Cozy Lip Cream. This is supposed to be a soft kind of lipstick, kind of liquid lipstick, but doesn't set down and dry your lips out to shriveled raisins or little prunes that are dead on the countertop. It's supposed to maintain its moisture. It's supposed to help keep your lips comfortable. It's a liquid product that comes in a tube with a doe foot, but doesn't dry down to that indelible, immovable surface. And that looked really interesting to me. And then all of the shades were these really pretty kind of wearable nudes, and I was like, oh, I love that. And it really kind of sounded like a formula that I would love, because I love the lip souffles from Rare Beauty. I like the Infinite Lip Cloud from M Cosmetics, and this sounded like a very similar formula. I was like, well, maybe. And then I told myself, look, you have a lot of liquid lipsticks that you like that you never wear. Don't buy another one that's just gonna sit there. I literally don't know how I was able to tell myself that I didn't need this product. Fenty launched bullet lipsticks. And not just any bullet lipsticks in refillable packaging. Oh, I wanted one so bad, so bad. But the truth is, I went into Sephora and I went into Ulta and I was swatching, and the truth was that there wasn't really a color that I loved. The shades that they made, now, beautiful red, and I love a red lipstick, but I probably have 40 red lipsticks, maybe more. I don't need another red lipstick. And the rest of the nudes, I feel like there's really a trend right now where all of the nudes that are coming out are very brown or very peach leaning. There aren't very many that are kind of a neutral or even a peach leaning nude, and then they're also very light. I feel like that happened with Rare Beauty with their Kind Words release. I feel like the 12 lipsticks they released with Rare Exception were very warm leaning, as well as kind of that peachy nude color. I feel like that's what happened here with Fenty Beauty, and I really know myself and the type of colors I prefer. I prefer a pink leaning nude, and I just didn't really fall for any of these shades. I did fall head over heels for the packaging, and I would be willing to pick one of these up if they ever expand the shade range of these lipsticks. But this Icon Semi-Matte Refillable Lipstick, I think, is one of those things that I'm really grateful right now that I don't have. I cannot tell you how long it's been since I bought an Urban Decay eyeshadow palette. More than 5 years, maybe even more than 6 years. It's been so long I don't remember. That's how long it's been. But this January, I was this close with the Wild Greens. This was a palette that they released at the very beginning of this year, and it had these really gorgeous kind of green colors. These greens called to me, they were kind of army green. They were kind of like sagey green. They were not your straight up like green. There was no jungle green to be seen. It was all kind of muddy and murky, and I was like, yes, Urban Decay. And then on top of that, I felt like the rest of the shades in there were, with Rare Exception, ones that I would use, but I really was drawn into these green shades in this Wild Greens palette. And I liked that the packaging was different than what they'd been doing up to this point. It wasn't like their regular naked packaging. And I'm glad I didn't get it, because all the reviews that I watched from people that I trust, they were like, either it's just okay or it's not good at all. And so I really feel like I dodged a bullet with this one. The last one is another lip product. These are the matte lipsticks from Gwen Stefani's Give line. Man, she's got so many beautiful lip products that really look interesting. She's got kind of like a glossy lip situation. She has kind of creamy lipsticks. She's got these matte lipsticks. I love the look of all of these, but the truth is, I'm glad I don't have any of them. I feel like Gwen's line is very quintessentially Gwen. They're the sorts of shades she likes to wear. they're what she's known for. And you know me, I love a red lipstick. I would love that red lipstick. I remember when Gwen did a collab with Urban Decay. Do you remember this? She came out with some lipsticks. She had an eyeshadow palette and she had a blush palette, blush and highlight. And I'll tell you, I love the blush and highlight palette. I used it for a long time. I really enjoyed the color selection she had inside of her eyeshadow palette. And there were so many of those Vice lipsticks that I used down to the nub. Even though I love Gwen Stefani and I have really fun nostalgic memories of listening to No Doubt and to Gwen and just kind of, you know, myself growing up in Southern California, she does and says a lot of stuff that makes sense to me as an 80s Southern California girl. And all of this, it really does like really strongly ring that nostalgia bell for me. But the truth is, I don't feel like I'm missing anything from her brand. And the one thing that was really kind of like luring me in was that red lipstick. But again, your girl's got more than 40 red lipsticks. I don't need another one. I don't know that I'm not ever going to purchase anything from Gwen's line, but I'm glad I didn't start out with that matte red lipstick that has been just kind of calling me and calling me and calling me. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was interesting. There are some other products that kind of like really grabbed my attention and I'm kind of glad I didn't pick up. I would love to know what sorts of things kind of catch your interest. Are you a lipstick person? Are you an eyeshadow person? Are you always looking for the perfect liner? When somebody launches something new, what really catches your eye? Are there brands that you are very loyal to? Let me know what those are in the comments down below. And then also, has there been anything that kind of caught you and you were like, oh, I think I need it, you're mesmerized, and then you kind of were like, no, I think I'll be okay. Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Have an incredible day, and I'll see you again soon.